No, it's all good. It's all good.
You want to help you straight to questions?
Yeah, help you straight to questions. I don't usually have a big statement to make or anything like that. Oh, thank you. It's- had- no, no. We got these, I guess, this a while ago, so just using it now. But I just grabbed something out the closet because I knew it was cold. It's starting to get chilly out.
Well, what do you hope to learn in this next exhibition?
Um, what we hope to learn this next exhibition is we want to try to continue to improve our defense, our transition defense. Want to make sure that we're working on continuing to protect the glass, attack the glass both offensively and defensively. And I think an area that we want to try to concentrate is defending without fouling. I thought we sent him to the free throw line an awful lot that last game, and so just kind of want to continue to take steps forward with this young club.
What do you tell a guy like DJ after he had kind of a poor season in that first exhibition? You didn't say anything to him at that point.
No, you utilize. There's so many facets to the game. It's just not your offense, and he's such a complete player that that one area of the game shouldn't affect all the rest of your areas of your game. You know, you're running the team, you're defending, you're calling out to keeping us organized, and those kind of things. And I think he did a lot of good things. You know, obviously, a lot of things to build on.
What were some of the positives that you could maybe go look at film and maybe go back and tell him about that game? Because obviously everybody's going to look at the 4 points and 1 assist for a guy like that. But what did you see kind of?
A couple of things that at times was just to getting the right spacing and understanding of the timing of when to let go of the ball. I think just a few times where you maybe kept the ball a little too long. Also releasing the ball, hitting the head, cutting through, letting the ball come back to you. You know, some of the things that he was able to do up in Canada, and just getting back into that flow.
How much of an emphasis is that keep the ball moving for you guys this season? And is it more so than some of Cal's previous teams? It seems like he's really stressing that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we talk about the ball creating energy. It creates energy, and the way it creates energy is you move it, you make it pop, 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 and you get the defense to move. Now, in transition or we get a broken play, you get a steal, the defense isn't set, now you're playing whatever you attack and whatever you see. But on made baskets or set defense, then you have to make the defense move, which means you have to make the ball move, which means you have to make bodies move. And so those are the things that we're continuing to work through each day in practice, and you know, you do it in practice, and then it has to now translate to game, and you get a little game slippage, you get the extra anxiety or energy of being at home and the crowd and all those things, and so you got to manage a little bit of all that.
Despite how youthful this team is, what makes you confident that it's going to be better defensively than it was at times like last year?
Just because what we see every day in practice. Guys they're prideful, they're competitors, they're dogs, and you know, we challenge them every day, and they got to continue to meet that challenge.
As a follow-up to that, how good do you think this team could be blocking shots, especially once you get the big men back in the game?
Once we get our 21 feet back,
Yeah.
I think
Things like Trey's already shown ability to do that as well as Reed. So I mean, it's like you guys have some, it's not the same type of Reed.
yeah, we do, and I don't think, and to your point, I don't think Trey gets enough credit. Obviously, everybody sees his ability to move the ball, to pass the ball, to shoot the ball. He did have 3 blocks in that game, and he's got great timing, great anticipation. So being able to add to that and what Reed already does, I think it'll bode well for us. Obviously, Ugo, in his minutes that he played last year, showed what he can do, and then Aaron and Z are instinctively really long and athletic and got great timing on those things. So we should expect those guys to be able to help us protect the basket that way.
You guys were able to get Jordan pretty late in the game after he decommitted from Ole Miss. What did you guys identify when he became available, and does he kind of surpass some expectations here leading into the year?
You know, we're absolutely loving everything that Jordan has given us. He's doing yeoman's work in learning a position that he hadn't really played a lot of, and it's just adding value to him and what he does for us. His energy, his motor, his length. He's another guy that can go out and block shots, chases down rebounds, chases down shots. So all those things are a plus for us, and he gives us a certain spark when he's on the court.
I know we're awaiting the NCAA with Big Z, but how's he coming along in practice?
He's working hard, and he's progressing. So, yeah.
You speaking about Reed a second ago, and obviously he's one of the freshmen who have to come in and maybe adapt to a different role than he had in his high school team. But can you kind of speak to his transformation and the way he's slotted in with a bunch of other talented guys around him so far?
I think it's allowed him to play really, really loose and free. You know, at times we challenge him to be a little more selfish because the play is for him to make the basket, and he loves to elevate and facilitate and move the ball and shooting at an extremely high clip. And so he has to find that balance as well. I think he's playing. He loves playing with his teammates. You know, he's got a lot of talent around him, and so that makes it a lot easier.
He was obviously super accomplished in high school, as are so many of the freshmen. So when you're having those conversations with him about, hey, be more selfish, this plays for you, go up and take it, like how do you, I guess, communicate that to him and get him to do it on the court?
It's just is getting them to understand that the timing, okay, that play right there called for you to shoot the ball, not to be looking for somebody else to shoot the ball. And so getting them to understand those opportunities. He'll always look to make the next pass and the extra pass, but there's opportunities where he has to be the one that go, and he's finding that rhythm.
Is it hard for all the freshmen to find that balance of when to shoot and when to pass?
Yeah, it is. That's a challenge most freshmen have, as well as learning how to defend at the next level with the speed and the athleticism and the strength. And you know, our guys are no different. They're just, you know, we're forcing them and speeding them up in those areas.
Does anything surprise you, either positively or negatively, about your group so far here at the game?
We love how connected they are. You know, obviously you guys got a chance to see a little bit of that up in Canada in a short period of time. But they come from great families. They really like each other. And that's a key ingredient in being able to put teams together to have an opportunity to win, is how much they care for one another, how much they like each other.
How rare is that natural chemistry? Because they all touched on that at media day, how much they enjoy being around each other, and they know when they get after each other. It's kind of coming from a place of love, and so they can take it a little better.
We call it gladiator school. They got to challenge each other, you know, and it's rare, and it's an element that every team in the country tries to foster, tries to create. But when it comes organically, it's that much more easier to be able then to push the envelope on the hard things that you have to do, because you're not trying to get that synergy going that's vital for a team.
Orlando, you mentioned just a minute ago there about, you know, having freshmen have to learn when to pass and when to shoot, and also getting them up to speed defensively. Given how many freshmen this team has, you know, their credit to, like, this team won't win at a high clip because they're how, you know, veteran college basketball players right now. How do you feel about that?
They've said that all the time about all the guys the freshmen that we've had come through Kentucky. So that's nothing new. And people are entitled to their opinions, and we just got to go out there and keep working and prove people wrong.
What was your assessment of how you guys played without your three bigs versus Georgetown? Even though it's a small window of tape, what did you take away from it as a coaching staff?
We took away that we did a lot of nice things. There's some areas that we have to continue to tighten up. We're challenging our guys to have multiple guys be in the 80% in terms of going to the glass, offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding. Obviously, defensive rebounding needs to be probably a little higher than the 80%, but offensive rebounding, that's just making a conscious effort to go every time. You don't have the luxury of having Oscar down there anymore. So it's going to be a collective group that has to be able to go out there and rebound.
When you're coaching alongside Chuck Martin, what do you think you see that he brings that maybe you guys didn't have last season?
Another guy I can speak Spanish to? No, Chuck's got great experience, great poise. He's coached at so many different levels, and obviously he and I go back a lot of years, having gone to the same high school and from the Bronx, and just known each other pretty much, over 30-something years. So he brings a calmness to the kids and to the staff, and it's great having him on staff.
Anything different about him now compared to when you knew him all those years ago?
Just a little older. I got more gray. He doesn't seem to have as many.
Trey, playing this kind of small ball five, it seems like he likes it. He said media day he likes it. But he can play the 4 or the 5. Obviously, he's going to have to play the 4 once those bigs come back sometimes. So what have you seen him knocking down threes as a small ball 5? Is something you don't see a lot of Kentucky.
Trey's a young man that I've known a long time and recruited him 3 different times, and glad I'm getting a chance to coach him now because of he's a great basketball player, but he's an unbelievable human being, and he's been great for this group as a connector, as a guy that helps facilitate. He's got so many layers to his game, and you guys are getting a chance to see a little bit of that. His passing, his feel. We're going to have to find opportunities for him around the basket as well. But he's a matchup problem with guys because of his ability to shoot the ball and his ability to play out in space.
Did you joke with him about that third time's charm that you finally got?
Oh, always.
What does he say?
He laughs.
What drew you to him in the first place? Think recruiting out of high school and stuff like that.
I'm sorry?
What drew you to him in the first place? Was it just his mind, his play style? What attracted you from the beginning?
His hands and his feet. Even in high school, he was a lot heavier than he was, but he still moved the same way. He still had great feel, and obviously he's changed his body around now, being in college, and he continues to have those skills. And I think those skills are gonna serve him for many years to come at the next level.
You said some of the freshmen were ribbing and calling him uncle, dad, stuff like that. Is he taking on a leadership role, do you think?
He does. He takes a quiet role with them. He doesn't say much to them unless he has to, and when he does, they listen. If they're getting a little goofy and there's times, maybe he'll tap them, maybe this ain't the time, or those kind of subtle things that a veteran does, and then we kind of enjoy that.
How important is it to have guys who can do that on these teams, a team like this with so many young freshmen? Because you've had that before here.
Yeah, it's important. Both he and Antonio are going to be asked to shoulder a lot early on as these guys get acclimated to what playing at this level with these expectations, this intensity. Those guys are going to be asked to shoulder a lot until they can get up to speed, and it's important to have those kind of pieces to help you balance out.
In that regard, how important was Trey's addition in that regard, so it wasn't maybe completely on Antonio to have to shoulder all that? I don't know if it's possible.
It was important. It was important, and we're happy that he's here.
Antonio had 18 points from only 2 threes. The threes will come, but how much do you think he's evolved as an all-around offensive player?
Antonio's gifted offensively. He's really, really gifted offensively. Our challenge to him is to be able to continue to improve defensively, continue to improve with his leadership. He's quiet, and so that's an area of growth for him that we're asking him to become better at, and he's been doing a good job with that. There's still some areas that they all need to improve on.
Is there an area of the whole team since the end of Global Jam to now that you've seen like the most improvement in your eyes?
It's a good question. I mean, it's overall, I think instinctively they move the ball extremely well. I think the area that the best that we need to best improve at is continuing defensively. When we have to continue to play small, or we'll get into if we get into foul trouble and those kind of things, guys playing little bit different roles.
Are you expecting teams to go at Trey right off the bat? I mean, kind of knowing how light you guys are at the 5 spot, or especially the better teams like when a Kansas comes up, do you expect them to just attack him right off the bat?
I would imagine that they would try, but you know, Trey's a vet, knows how to play, and you know, that if that does occur, then we'll be ready to adjust, and you know, you're having a guy like Jordan maybe playing some backup, which then would move a dude to the 4, and you know, and sometimes Justin at the 4. Now you become really fast and really dangerous, and you know, even if a dude had to play some 5 in the case now, okay, becomes a different kind of a game too for people to have to deal with.
How much is his physical transformation? I know he gained a lot of weight during the season, but I feel like he's kind of chiseled that weight over the offseason. How big a deal is that for him to be able to kind of play this different style?
You talking about Adu? Adu's still growing, man. It's scary to think that he's still growing. He's still shaping his body into, you know, he's been blessed with some genetic genes that none of us had anything to do with. He just has to work it, and he's been doing that. And we're going to be asking a lot of him, you know, as someone now that has to step up and play multiple positions, a guy that can play, honestly, 1 through 5 if you needed him to.
Is it tough coaching in Kentucky to have to mold these young players, like Ben was saying? They're so much still in development, but they have such high expectations of it at the same time. They're changing every week, every month in the season.
It's what we do.
You guys talk about Louisville at all in the program today?
No, no.
Is their loss last night the reason for y'all to emphasize that exhibition games are just important because you have someone like Kansas coming up in a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for us to try to get out and go get better. You know, we got enough things to worry about here than to be worrying about anybody else's programs. So we just want to try to continue to improve. And the games are played because you have to show up and you got to play. And if a team is good and they get hot and make shots, anybody can lose. So you know, we're fully aware of that, and we just got to go out and try to be the best version of ourselves on that night, learn from what we can, and then be ready to move on.
What excites you most about this team potential? Maybe when you guys are playing at your best, like what do you envision seeing out there?
It's hard to even describe that right now when you have the bigs out to get a full picture. You know, in our minds, we have an opportunity to be one of those teams at the end of the year, with everyone here and everyone healthy and available.
You talked about the quiet leaders. Who's the vocal guy on this team?
The vocal guy, I would probably say DJ. DJ is very vocal, can be vocal. You know, I think those other guys are still trying to find their way. Justin at times can be. At times he can be quiet. Rob can be at times, and he gets quiet as well. So those guys are still trying to learn those roles and feel themselves out in that way.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.